Hi, Bible Art Journalers. I've got some designer napkins for a fun technique, and I thought we could do a napkin swap at this month's meetup. While the napkin is full ply, you can cut out an image from the napkin, or you can leave it whole, or you can tear it. Then you're going to want to separate the plies of the napkin, and most napkins have 2 or 3 plies. And you want to make sure you get down to just one. Then I'm going to use my matte gel medium. You could also use a clear gesso as long as it's one that's not gritty. This is the Liquitex matte gel medium that I use to prep my pages if I'm using anything that's going to bleed through. You just put a thin coat on, and then with a smaller piece like this, you can just put it down with your fingers and smooth out any bubbles. I'm going to dry it completely, and you could let it air dry or you can use your heat gun. And then I'm going to apply a second coat over the top of the matte gel medium. Once it's adhered to the page, it's pretty easy to do this second coat. If you were to apply this to the back of the napkin and try and glue it down, the napkin would tear. It's so thin, it's almost like tissue paper, and I really think it would be fun with some of the cute tissue papers they make now to try this same technique with tissue paper. So once I've got it smoothed out, I went ahead and dried it again with my heat gun, and now I'm just going to add some quick stamps with my VersaFine ink. Normally this ink would bleed through, but because I used a page prep medium to glue down the image, it's going to keep the ink from bleeding through as well, which gives me a lot of options for doing mediums over this as well. So now I'll show you the second page that I did using the floral napkin. And it's so fun to look around now and see all the different printed napkins and have ideas of things that would go well in your Bible. Now I could fussy cut around these flowers, but I'm going to actually use the tear technique with this. And I'm just going to tear it down until it fits to the size of the page. I purposely chose napkins with a light or white background just simply because it's going to be most transparent. Now I separated the plies again. This first ply came off quite easily, and actually ripping an edge does tend to help you get the plies separated because it's often perforated around the edge to kind of hold the napkin together. Pulled my second ply off, and now I'm left with just the top layer, which is going to be fairly see-through once we get it put down on the page with the matte gel medium. So now I'm just fussing a little bit with getting a straight edge that's going to tuck down into the binding, and then just tearing away until I have the flowers left that I want and a size that's going to fit on my page. Now I'm going to do the same thing here where I'm going to put a thin layer of the matte gel medium down with my credit card technique, and then I'm just going to lay that napkin onto that. With a larger napkin like this, I'm going to want to be careful about how I lay it down from one side and then work across to push the air bubbles out. And you'll see I actually am going to end up getting a clean credit card, not the same one that I was just using with the matte gel medium, and I'm going to push the air bubbles out with that. because it just wasn't quite getting smooth enough with just my hand with this bigger piece. You don't want to apply any of the top matte gel medium to this while the bottom layer is still wet. So that's why I'm using a clean credit card here and not the one that I still had some matte gel medium on. It'll tear the napkin. Once it was all smooth, I dried it again with my heat gun, and then I applied my second coat over the top. I think this is a really fun way to get some art in your Bible without actually having to do any drawing or painting. And with so many fun designs out there now with napkins, I'm sure you can find things that will relate very well and go into your Bible. And how fun to buy a package of 20, get together with a few friends, and do a swap. So now I'll show you the finished pages, and I really think they came out smooth and nice, and you can still see some of the words through the transparency of this as it dries. And I'll hold it up here so you can kind of see. I am not that concerned about whether I can read every word because this is my art journaling Bible. But if you want, you can keep yours in the margin.